Beautiful, wonderful night. And we're working on the green car. We're getting some more stuff done, figured out, fiddled with. A few things happened. Tommy came over, welded up our bung here, nice and good for the drain. Done. He went ahead and kicked ass on the cup holder too, and got the cup holder piece ends welded that my father-in-law used a brake on. I just got to paint and glue these in. And I'll have a cup holder for the car, which is sick. And he also went ahead and, because this thing was a pain to use, we welded a socket here all the way around it onto that nut. So that's going to be wonderful. We can actually crank down on this thing with a ratchet. Be a lot easier to use than spinning that thing around. One more thing that's easier, or we're trying to make easier to do, is putting this engine and trans in this car for the rest of its life. As you can see, I don't know if I posted this short or not. This thing has to go to the roof, like to the roof, to get in the car at an angle and safe. The problem with that is you get that thing too high, even with the legs out. That's as far as I can get the legs out because of my cross member down here. And it's so much easier to use the car on the ground than in the air. But the problem is you go too high, the rear starts lifting up. I work on this car by myself a lot, so that's another issue. I can't get both sides. The other issue is the oil pan barely gets the bottom. Actually, the bottom of the bell housing, you have to lift, you literally have to physically lift the engine up and then swing it in. It's just an unsafe way of doing it. It's not fun at all. So we're gonna fix that while the engine's out. If you look here, I have this piece of angle iron that I cut. I split it. I was gonna leave a little bit of a dimple down here for like a bin structure, but I have a better idea. As you can see, that top crossover for the engine, it's literally just tin foil. Like it was not structurally sound whatsoever until I put the intercooler in and mounted it to the radiator mount. Now it's a lot more structurally sound. So that's cool. It's not going to stop a wreck though. It's the thing down there, the massive beam. I don't know if you can see it under there. That will stop wrecks. I can prove that. I've hit 2 cars. One was a drunk driver. Some douche kid in high school brake checked me. And then I hit a deer. And here's the car. It's still standing. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to make this a removable piece so I can keep the structure of the intercooler and everything. The only thing that's here is literally the grill, the intercooler, which, you know, I mean, look, I can even push it forward and back already. So like, but down and up, if I do down and up, the car is just moving. But inward and outward, it's just a box. It's not an actual, it's not a structure whatsoever. But the goal is to, as you can see, I drilled a hole here on the angle iron. I left the bit in it though. I drilled these holes for the hood pins. And I got another bit over there and drew the hole over there. Of course, these holes are going to be bigger anyways. There's going to be a riv nut on each side to do basically a riv nut. We're just going to do like we do everything else now. Riv nuts are the way to go in my opinion. So we'll have a riv nut here, and then I'll sawzall right here. Not this part. This will stay solid. I'll sawzall right here, right? After I put a sheet screw here and a sheet screw here, so we know this piece is mounted to this piece. I'll take the whole thing out. We'll sawzall it, put the sheet screws back in so it's back to where it was. Tack weld it to this, retest fit, and then if it's good, we'll pull it back off and just fully weld it. I could just weld this piece here to this piece here and be done with it. But I feel like when I cut here, I lose my box rigidity, even though it'll probably be fine still because it's, you know, 1/8 inch stuff. I want to be a little bit safer on that. So when we cut it and it's got this piece, there's nothing on it right now. So, you know, I'm pushing up and down. I don't want it to do that anymore. So what I did was when I split the angled iron, I got the other piece, and I don't know if you could see this, but that front piece is at an angle right here, slanted downward. I'm gonna put this piece kind of up here to give us an angle of structure. Kind of a beveled down angle. I don't know if you can see it. Obviously this is flat, this one's just here. So we got here and here. We made a joint, or we're remaking the joint, basically. So that'll give me some more structure. And then I'll pretty much tack it here probably after the cut. And then I don't want to weld this spot yet on each side, because if you see how much down it is, we're gonna hammer that flush. That's why when I go a step bit on this too for the bolts, that's gonna be the problem too. So we're gonna hammer that down real quick and flush it on each side. And then this piece that's helping secure everything, we're gonna hammer it flat, and then we'll weld the bead between these two to this piece. So that's all in my brain. So we'll see how it goes. It never works out that way, so. But I'm gonna give it a whack and kind of see what we come up with. So here's part one of the amazingness that is gonna make this engine go. Basically, I'll have an extra 1.5 feet with the intercooler removed and the grill, and even the bumper if I wanted to. That down there is the first thing that hits, which is lower than the radiator support. I could literally just push the engine in like an S10, lower it in. That's what I want, because I do this a lot all by myself. It's usually when Heather's not here. She's headed home from work. And we have Chloe now, so I can't really just like bring them out here. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do, and hopefully it turns out good. I hammered this down. Of course, we gotta weld it and stuff. I'm gonna put another thing here, so we'll have 2 bolts on each side. I put a sheet metal screw here and a sheet metal screw here. The only reason why I did that is because I want a hole, and I want a hole of where this piece is with this piece, because I got to take this piece back off and take a Sawzall and cut down here and then cut down here. Then I'll put these back in, make sure everything's lined up, and proceed to start welding some, getting some tacks in, and then I'll pull the whole thing off and we'll weld the whole thing up. So it's a lot of back and forth, but it's not going to be too bad. I'm actually pretty excited. It's actually like way more. I mean, look at the whole car. I'm shaking my hand too. It's kind of hard to shake the car and pushing down on this thing. It's not budging. So even that little bit of angle resting on that piece helped out a ton. So let me get this off real quick. Could get the music to pause. So instead of bugging Tommy, I have found out that I was burning too hot. And now I have fixed it. I'm just my second grind through. I'm kind of just tacking up some of these holes. Not all of them. It just seems to be looking a little pretty. To clean it up for paint. Excuse me. Honestly, it came out a lot better than I thought it was. Very excited. So basically, we got 2 bolts in, and I did 4 on each side, 2 on each side, because when you push it back and forth like this, there's nothing bolted on right now, so it just wiggles back and forth and then up and down. With everything bolted in though, this thing is like super structured, so I'm very happy about that. So I'm gonna get this off real quick. We'll paint it, and then I'll kind of show you the finished product, and then after that I'm pulling the intercooler out and this top part out. And so when I put the new engine in, it's literally just going to be whoop right in. No more dangerous in the air, touching that roof practically, and none of that. So yeah, I should have done this a long time ago after cleaned it up, put a coat of paint on it, prettied it up. It's going to sit here probably overnight, let it sit. I gotta go, it's the day before Thanksgiving, so we're gonna get ready to cook and stuff. And then I'm gonna have to do something about this. I'll probably cap them off. I went ahead and cut like 1/8 of an inch off the other side, so it's easier to get in and out. We may grind this down a little bit more and cap it, or just spray it down. I don't really know yet, but that part's done. I've got the, I had to sand the back of this thing down. I messed up because I was using a heat gun to heat this up. And when I sprayed it, it rippled a little bit on top. Not a big deal. For now, I'm gonna be okay with it until I get the whole dash done. So there'll be another piece like that. And then I'm probably gonna wrap the whole thing. I don't know yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna let this dry off, and then we'll slap it on and see how it looks and see if it's sturdy. I mean, see how this is all wiggly right now? We'll just give that like a before and after when I put the whole thing back on. And man, I'm excited. After this, once I know it's good, we'll pull the intercooler off, which is super easy. It's 2 bolts down here. Of course, the rubber, that one can probably stay on, and just elbow it out. And then this one will take off and loosen. And I have a whole forearm of room. And if I'm like, oh, it's still too high, this bumper right here is just 6 bolts, 6 nut clips. Take that off, bam, I have all the way to here, which is massive. So huge game changer for when it comes to working on this car engine wise. I could literally do it by myself, like without killing my back. So pretty happy about that. I'm gonna let that dry. I'll sweep the floor up later on, clean up the garage again, then we'll go to our next project. Let this dry real quick and we'll cut to that, and then we'll see how it looks. It's going to be shiny. The rest of the engine bay is not going to be gloss black right now, which is fine. I don't care. Yeah, that'll be another thing though. There's plenty of patches that we got to do before I even think about doing a SEMA front engine bay. And we have it painted nice and birdie. Of course, I didn't get all the little caved in parts. It's not a SEMA car. It's literally a street car. This is just for me. So got it all in there, painted up nice and good. Loving it. I haven't bolted it down yet because it kind of feels a little tacky still. It's like 40 degrees out, so paint doesn't dry as fast. So we're gonna wait overnight before I tighten it all down. But yeah, we now have a easier removable thing, and there's 2 bolts right down here, and the intercooler comes straight up. Honestly, I can leave the intercooler right here and just pull the whole thing up. Probably gonna end up doing that. I'll probably paint this black while I'm in there and kind of tidy up in here with leftover paint that I have. And then it's like a coyote or something. And then we have this other piece right here, which is just a nice little box. I'm gonna wrap it eventually, I think. I don't know how bright this gloss is going to be, but this will be temporary. My cup holders, we'll have it in there, and then eventually I'll have Terry help me break another set to go from like this piece to the center console. Have a radio, a shifter hole, get that all fancied up again. So as of now, we have this done that we needed done. That's not really motor wise. We have, I think, everything to get the engine. No, we need one more thing I'm waiting on, is the speed bleeder. It's a M10 by 10 to 3AN. This is a TIC Performance speed bleeder that I bought. Well, the eBay slave cylinder with the eBay clutch system didn't have the right thread pitch, and it ruined. I ruined it. So I ordered that piece from them. Luckily, they were able to sell me just that piece and sent that there. So once that gets here, then I'll be ready to throw everything back in. So we're looking at probably next Friday. Thanksgiving this weekend. Probably going to be family time for that. So I don't think I'm going to be doing too much on the car. So yeah, we got what we needed done. We have a structurally sound middle piece that removes off the car super easily. And it's just 2 bolts. It's a 10AN, and I need to go get some more M10s to put. I'll put another 2 M10s right here. I only had 2. I couldn't find my other 2. So all I can do is drill that rivet out, pop it out, easy peasy. Then it's just one socket to pull the whole thing apart. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful how that works out. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll keep you posted on TikTok, of course. I'm on TikTok like crazy now. And y'all have a good one.